gon' spit facts, gon' get your kick back up, yeah, gon' spit facts, gon' get your kick back up, yeah, gon' spit facts, gon' get your kick back up, yeah, gon' spit facts. What's up, friends? We are live, and I have the pleasure to have with me mostly calm Margo, also mostly zealous for our Lord Margo. Some know her as Margarita, and the rich folks know her as Wells Margo. Margo, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good, Enoch. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm always good. The Lord is good. I wanted to get you on here and talk about you, talk about your history, your present, and maybe a little bit of your future. So if why don't we start letting everybody know what year you were born and your full name?
Okay, so I was born in January 8th, 1991. My full name is actually Margaret. Margo is just my nickname. That's a shock to a lot of people. My full name is Margaret Rose Basso. Not gonna give any more private info. Like if you want my social security number, you got to get to know me a lot better before I give you my social security number. But
social security number, okay, yeah, we'll probably get that towards the end, not right now.
But stay tuned, everyone. Watch until the very end, and you'll get my social security number.
Identity theft
is not a crime. It's a crime, Jim.
Families suffer every year. So, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I've lived in the same place basically my whole life. I've lived in the Chicago suburbs of Naperville. It's a western suburb outside Chicago my entire life. So I'm very boring like that. I haven't really lived anywhere else, although I went to college about 2.5 hours away in Peoria, Illinois, where Ford & Sheen is from. But yeah, so just Chicago suburbs, Illinois, living in the blue state.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very blue state. It's been a blue state for a long time. So, and are you still in Chicago right now?
Yeah, I'm still in the suburbs.
Okay, so I assume you know, because you're Margo, right? You could walk around south side of Chicago at 2 a.m. no problem, right?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, fortunately, I'm not actually in the city. I'm like an hour outside the city, so okay. I don't have to worry. But still, like that's no.
It's not a safe place, state, not anymore at least. So let's talk about your background. I'm interested. So growing up, so you're born in 91. So you went through most of the 90s decade, but I would say the early 2000s was pretty much where you shined, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So going back, what kind of child were you? Were you rambunctious? Were you calm? Did you give your parents any trouble?
I mean, I was mostly calm. I've been mostly calm my entire life, basically. I mean, I just had a typical childhood. I was probably the last generation to actually like have a normal childhood without a lot of screens and all that. Like I actually played outside and ran around with my friends, rode bikes, climbed trees, did all that. I think I'm probably the last generation to have been able to just do that. You know, I didn't have any kind of phones or electronics. I mean, I would watch TV and stuff, but I mean, I had VHSs, and that was like basically the limit of what I had.
Yeah. You're a product of a dying breed, Margo. So VHS, I remember VHS very well. So you said you watched TV. Did you watch a lot of TV growing up, or were you mostly outside?
I did both. I've always loved TV. So I watched a lot of. But my family was unique. We never had cable. My parents were those people who refused to ever give in, and they never got us cable. So I was growing up on like PBS Kids and all that, while everyone else was watching like Cartoon Network. I was like, I don't know what any of these shows are. I don't know anything about those because I was just growing up on like Arthur and I don't know whatever else was on like PBS Kids, Brownie and Sesame Street and all those other shows. So that was my childhood.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife loved Barney growing up, which is really cool. So like Saturday morning, were you like a cartoon person? What was it, mostly PBS Kids, or did you also watch
PBS Kids? Then we also had like some like on the local station, we'd have like some shows that would come over. So I think like Rugrats and Doug, all like the cartoons I vaguely remember on Saturday mornings. But
Doug.
Yeah,
I remember Doug. I remember
vaguely
Doug.
remember, like, Recess, I think, was another show I would watch. But again, like, all these shows are very, like, hazy to me.
Right, right. Yeah. Doug Funny and Patty Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. So were there like TV shows you grew up watching, not animated, like sitcoms that you liked?
Oh yeah, sitcoms. I was all about the sitcoms growing up. Full House. Let's see. Full House was probably the very first one. Boy Meets World, Sabrina. I was all about the TGIF. I was a TGIF kid. So,
Right.
ABC. Step by Step. Growing Pains. All those like old TGIF shows. But I mean, Full House and Boy Meets World were my favorites, and I still rewatch them to this day out of nostalgia.
Full House. So you talk about the original Full
The
House.
original one, yes. Not any of these reboots. The reboots have been total crap and just all woke nonsense and all that. But the originals are just so classic.
That's so cool. Yeah, I remember watching those growing up too. Those were always good shows. Family Matters. I don't know if you remember that
Oh,
show.
Family Matters. Yes, that's the one
Yeah,
I couldn't think of. I loved Family Matters.
yeah. You ever watch Fresh Prince?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, all right. So mostly, what about like Nickelodeon type show? Did you watch like all that or like Keenan and Kel at all? Or
Only when I'd be at friends' houses, I would catch a few episodes because again, I didn't have cable, so it's like, oh, I would hear of those shows and I would like catch a few, like if I'd be at a friend's house for a sleepover or something. But other than that,
sure. Were you a Disney fan growing up?
yes, yeah, I love
Okay.
all the classic Disney
What do you,
films.
what was your favorite classic Disney?
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. That's great. So if you had to pick a Disney princess, the classic ones that would associate with you, who would you say?
I would say, I don't know. There's a mixture of them because I would go as Snow White a lot for Halloween just because I have the natural, like, Snow White coloring and everything, the dark hair and the light skin. So I would always go as, like, that would just be my, like, default Halloween costume. But I really liked Belle because I liked reading growing up. And then also Ariel just because, like, she always wanted, like, to be somewhere different, I guess. And, always dreaming of her prince and everything. So.
Right. Yeah. So do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have two siblings, both older than me.
All the
Yeah,
brother
one
or
of each.
sister?
Yeah, so one of each. My
What?
sister is 40 and my brother is 36, I
Okay.
think.
So
I lose track of their ages
let me ask you
now.
this: Did you have to share a room growing up, or did you get your own room?
No, I always had my own room. So
Okay, that's good.
I was the youngest, and I was the spoiled youngest. Where I never had to deal with like sharing a room because my siblings were so much older than me. So I always just kind of like had my own room and got to kind of do whatever I wanted. Not whatever I wanted, but my parents were a lot more lenient when they got to me because there was such a big age gap. And so
Right.
like they were like more strict with my siblings. Then when they got to me, they were just like, nah.
No, that's great. It's always nice to have your own space. And did you get along with your brother and sister
When I
for the
was a
most part?
child, for the most part, when I was a child, not as much. Like my sister and I very much grew apart now that we're older because we're very opposite in almost every way. So yeah, we don't get along as well anymore. But growing up, she was good to me. She would like take me to the park and do stuff with me and my friends. So
Got it. And so let's move forward to like middle school, high school time.
okay.
Um, did you like have like your typical American high school experience? Like, did the whole went to the football games and to prom
Kind
and
of.
all the dances?
Not prom. I did not go to prom in high school, but I went to a public high school. I went to Catholic grade school from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then my parents let me choose if I wanted to go to the local Catholic high school, if I wanted to go to the public high school. And my reasons were very shallow. I was sick of wearing uniforms after 9 years of being in the Catholic uniform. I was just like, I'm just done. I want to just wear jeans. And my friends in the neighborhood would always go to public school, and so I'd always see them like in the morning at the bus stop. They'd be in like the cute like jeans and t-shirts, outfits, and I would just be in my like lame Catholic schoolgirls uniform, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. Also, I didn't like how the Catholic private schools focus a lot of like academics, and they were like college prep schools, and I wasn't like the best student. I was just more of an average student, so I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to college, and I was like, I don't like all this like academic vigor, and there were a lot more course options at the public high school, so I was like, I'm just gonna go to the public high school. And I wouldn't make that decision today, obviously, because of all the liberal and leftist nonsense, but
Right.
at least it wasn't too bad when I was in high school. It wasn't the
Yeah, same
worst.
here. It wasn't too bad for me either. Growing up. So were you like a straight A student, or did you struggle a little bit?
No, like I said, I was more of an average student, so I just got a mixture of grades. Like, I could get some A's, B's, C's. I was good at English, math, and science were not my strong suits. And then just I did okay in like social studies or history. But yeah, it was like the science stuff would just always pull me down. I would just be like, that was just
Got
not my
it.
strong suit. I was all about English.
So it wasn't too much Bill Nye, the science guy in high school for you?
No, it was just very boring and just I was like just not into it. So
Makes sense. So did you date in high school at all?
not really. I wasn't really one of those kids. I was more like I was always very introverted. I'd have like a lot. Like I had a big variety of friend groups, but I didn't have like one like set group of friends. I would just kind of go back and forth between different friend groups. But with boys, I was just like, never really got into the whole dating scene. And then yeah, I didn't go to prom or anything, so because didn't have a date or really like a group of friends. So a lot of my friends like were always older than me. I always like kind of related to people who were older than me. So like when I was a freshman, I became friends with seniors through my church's youth group. Because we'd have like senior like high school leaders that would help out with the confirmation prep classes. So I became friends with like seniors when I was a freshman. But then they would
Mm,
graduate, and then I was kind of like stuck in high school for the other few years. So
got it. Did you go to college after high school?
yeah, I went to college in Peoria, Illinois, which is 2.5 hours south of me. And fun fact, it's where Ford and Sheen grew up, and it's where he was
Ah,
ordained a priest in the Diocese of Peoria. So I got to learn about him, and he's really drew me back to the faith because I had although I went to Catholic high school. Oh, I mean, not Catholic high school. I went to Catholic grade school growing up. I learned the facts about the faith. I learned those 7 sacraments, and I memorized a whole bunch of prayers, and I knew the basic Bible stories. But that was about it. I never had any like explanations, any like the whys behind the faith. I never had any of the reasonings. But then when I got to college and I found out about this Ford and Sheen guy, just from being in Peoria, everyone would talk about Ford and Sheen, especially since back then at the time his cause for canonization was underway. They were trying to get it going and stuff back then in 2009. So like everyone would be talking about Ford and Sheen. So I looked him up and I found his reruns of his show on YouTube, and I found some of
mhm.
his books, and he really gave me a good grounding in the faith, and it really helped me to come back to the faith and have a reversion of sorts.
Nobody better than Sheen to
Oh yeah,
catechize you at that time. That's really awesome. Yeah, that's great. So did you ever catch some of the EWTN Life is Worth Living
yeah,
shows?
kind of on EWTN, just on different YouTube channels would have episodes of
Yeah,
his show on there. So yeah, it was
cool.
very instrumental, and he taught me a lot.
What did you go to college for?
I went to college for English. I studied English at Bradley University. I didn't. Everyone always thinks, "Oh, you want to be an English teacher." I was like, "No, I just like writing and grammar and reading, so it just seemed to be a natural fit for me." I was one of those kids who went to college and didn't know what I wanted to do because at the time it was still like you're supposed to go to college. This is what you do after you graduate high school. You go to college. Again, now all these years later, I have different opinions on that. But back then, and when I
Oh
graduated
yeah,
high school in 2009, you just go to college. That's just the natural path. So I went. I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I ended up picking English because again, I like writing, I like reading. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with this and see where this leads. I had
got
no
it.
real plan for my life.
I'll ask you some of those questions when we get to the faith aspect of it. But right now,
Yeah.
I want to move towards the pop culture.
Okay.
All right. So since it is the holidays time, we're in Advent season, almost approaching Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me your all-time favorite Christmas movie.
Let's see. Well, I mean, I've had a lot of them growing up. When I was growing up, like I liked this teen comedy called "I'll Be Home for Christmas" with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Jessica
Yeah.
Biel. I don't know if you ever saw it, but that was one of the ones I always would rewatch. It was just a cute story about this guy who was like trying to get home for Christmas because his father promised him like a Porsche or whatever. And then he had this girl he liked, but then there was this other guy who was messing with him, and I think like Jonathan Taylor Thomas got like stuck out in the desert in a Santa suit, and it was like this comedy of errors, like can he get home in time to get the Porsche or
Right. Right.
and also get the girl? So it was a cute film. And then I also like and then as I got older, there was another movie I like now called The Holiday, which is a romantic comedy with
Good.
Jack Black and Kate Winslet, Jude Law, and oh shoot, who was the other actress? I'm totally blanking on the other actress now. But it was like these people who switch houses for the Christmas time, and then they like meet other people, and then it's like, well, they go back to their regular homes, or they stay in their switched homes or something. But it's just a cute romantic comedy, and Jude Law was always good
You
on
like
the eyes.
more of the Hallmark style Christmas movies.
Kind of. My family watches them as jokes nowadays. Like, we have a holiday show, so I'm just going through and just like binging the funny things on Netflix,
Right.
or whatever. We just watch them all as jokes. We just make fun of them. So
Yeah. No, that's the thing that I found myself doing. When you get older, you kind of go back to the old TV shows you're watching. You realize how cringe they actually are.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Keeping with pop culture, what would you say right now is your favorite Catholic rapper?
I don't know. Let's see. There's no one who's really coming to mind. I don't know who. I mean, why would a Catholic be a rapper? I don't know.
So you would say someone like,
I don't know, Enoch or something. I don't know. It's just this like random guy who likes to
so you heard it, folks.
things.
You heard it, folks. Margo likes Enoch. That's her favorite. That's her favorite Catholic rapper.
You're the only Catholic rapper that I know, so
good. I'm the only Catholic rapper you should know. I'm the only one you should know, which is good. The less you know about Catholic rap, the better. So, so let's continue on with pop culture. Now, music. Were you like? Okay, let me ask you this: were you an NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys lady?
I mean, NSYNC, I would say maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I did go through a pop music phase when I was a teenager. Guilty pleasure. Nowadays, I'm just like cringe again. Like you were saying, like you go back, you listen, you're like, oh my gosh, why did I like this stuff growing up? And then like Britney Spears and all that. I was really into like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and now I'm just like, what were they talking about? Because all this stuff like went way over my head when I was a teen. I was a very sheltered teen, so I would listen to these songs. I had no idea that they were talking about like sex and everything. I don't know. But nowadays, I'm just like, oh my gosh, why? What was wrong with me? Yes, okay. My favorite music artist ever of all time is Enoch. Okay.
Yes, we have confirmation, folks, from the mostly calm Margo. Now, continuing on with the theme of pop culture, was pop like the music that you listened to growing up, or did you also like alternative?
I liked pop, I liked alternative, and then I also liked Christian praise and worship.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
I was not always a trad, okay? I became a trad, like you say, we'll get to the faith a little bit later. I became a trad much later in my life, just in the past, like, probably 5 years. So,
right.
When I was a teenager, I was more like, again, I was kind of searching as a teenager. I didn't really know, like, Catholicism, Protestantism. I was flirting with Protestantism a little bit. We'll get to that. So, I mean, I would listen to some Christian praise and worship and actually liked it back then.
Yeah. No, that's good that you said that. I think most of us are kind of newer to the traditional movement, traditional mass. I mean, I was a director of youth ministry and volunteering for the longest time, so I know all about the Steubenville conferences.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I get it. So let me ask you this: you went to the Novus. Now, were you always like? Did you have a time where like you were Catholic with the Catholic school? You learned your faith from Sheen. Did you kind of like have your prodigal son moment where you kind of left the faith and had your return?
Yeah, so here's where my faith was. So I was raised Catholic, went through Catholic grade school, received the sacraments. Confirmation was in high school for me. But I never really fully understood the faith. And the church I was raised in was very, the parish I was raised in was very modern and very not altogether orthodox. So I mean, again, I had no idea that Latin Mass existed. I didn't even know daily Mass was a thing until much later in my life. Like I just thought Mass was something you did on Sundays. Although we would go to Mass sometimes as a class during the week, but then I just saw like old ladies at the daily Mass. So I was just like, I don't know, is it just a school thing? Is this for like school kids that they have this daily mass thing, or is this like an actual thing that other people go to? I didn't know. And then when I was in high school, so I went to a public high school, I kind of fell away from the faith a little bit because, again, I just wasn't, even though I got confirmed in high school because that's just what you did. And I thought, like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do as a good Catholic, get confirmed. But then it was wrongly explained to me that confirmation is like an adult, it's like when you become an adult in the faith and you can choose to practice the faith however you want to. Like, my parents were like, oh, we can't force you to go to mass anymore. It's your decision if you want to go or not. Because I got confirmed as a junior. So by then I had like, my license and everything. So there was like, yeah, I mean, if, you can choose practice the faith however you want. And so I was just like, as a typical teen who was sick of mass being boring and stuff, I was like, sweet, I'm not going to mass anymore. Like, I'm not going to wake up early anymore. So I just stopped going to mass for a while, and I just became like Christian. I mean, I was always Christian. I always believed in God. That never went away. I was never an atheist or anything. I just didn't know which was true. I just was very confused between all the different forms. I was like hearing about Catholicism, and then I was hearing about Protestantism and Baptist and Methodist and Lutheran and non-denominational, and even like all these terms were getting thrown around, and I just had no idea which was true. And then I found this really great youth group called Young Life, and it was just fun. It was just a fun way to be Christian. Like, we would have these like we would meet twice a week. On Mondays it was like a Bible study, then Wednesdays was like big group night where we'd all get together and there'd be like skits and there'd be like fun stuff, and then like we'd all bring it back, we like related to God at the end of the night or something. It was a fun thing. Christianity was fun. I just thought, as long as I read the Bible, pray, and just, try to be a good person, I was like, that's all you need. I was like, you don't need to go to mass. You don't need to do all this extra Catholic stuff. You can just love God and, just pray, read the Bible. You're good. That's what I thought. And then when I got to college, I found my college had a really good Newman Center on campus that God led me to. And I just was hooked pretty much right away. The students there, the student leaders were very welcoming, and there were like big comfy leather couches and big screen. There was a big screen TV, and there was a chapel in the Newman Center too. So I was just like, this place is excellent. This place is awesome. I'm gonna stay here forever. And so slowly just getting to know the students there. And also then they would talk about Sheen, and I looked up Sheen, started listening to his stuff, and they had different retreats and stuff where I learned about the mass, the Novus Ordo Mass, but still, I started helping out at the cathedral. I was an altar server at the cathedral because that's what some of the college kids did, is we would help out by being altar servers. And again, at the time, I had no idea there was anything wrong with female altar servers. I thought I was helping out. I thought it was a good thing to help out at mass and, contribute that way.
Right.
So I went through all that, and I do feel like that being altar server really helped instill a love of the liturgy in me. And it helped me to grow and learn about the liturgy, and kind of started that passion, which has grown over the years. And yeah, so I just got very passionate about the Catholic faith. And I would read different Catholic blogs. And at some point, I think it was on 2011, 2012, I attributed to the Holy Spirit. He really lit a fire in my heart for the virtue of chastity. So I just was reading different Catholic blogs, and one of the bloggers would write articles about chastity, and I was just all of a sudden it clicked one day where I was just like, this makes total sense, and I was just like this is the answer to a lot of the issues I saw even back in 2012, even just 10 years ago. I was like, this world needs chastity. This world is already getting so messed up. And then a few years later, Obergefell was passed, and just all the stuff with abortion. And while I was at college, my friends and I tried to fight because when I was a junior in college, my college passed legislation to have contraception covered for free as part of the student health fee. It would go towards paying for free condoms in the dorms, and my fellow Catholics and I tried to fight that and tried to be like, hey, this isn't right. We as Catholics, we should not be forced to pay for something that we see as deeply immoral, like condoms in the dormitories. We didn't win, but we tried our best to fight it. So even back then, I was just very passionate about the virtue of chastity, and just I was passionate about chastity and the liturgy. And then over the years after I graduated college, more and more God just drew me more and more to love reverence in the liturgy. And then there were different events that would happen. I found a different parish when I got home from college that was more reverent. But then a few years later, the pastor had to leave because, they have certain assignment lengths. And so he got reassigned. And we got much less reverent pastor. So then I was like, okay, I can't keep doing Novus Ordo. And then there would be an FSSP priest who would come to my parish to say Latin Mass. So I started trying it out, and then before I knew it, was like 2017, the Summer of Shame hit. Taylor Marshall and Tim Gordon started doing their videos. They would talk. At first, they were doing commentary on the Theodore McCarrick revelations. Then they started talking more about traditionalism and the Latin Mass. So I started learning about Latin Mass through that. And so then I started to go more regularly. And for a while, since I knew the Novus Ordo, I didn't want to let go of the Novus Ordo because it was all I knew. And so I was just like trying to go back and forth between the two forms. But then because I'm such a liturgy geek, I'd be trying to read the two liturgical calendars and like trying to split the difference between them. And then I was like, these liturgical calendars are totally different. And like, especially when you get to like the Feast of Christ the King at the end of October, it's like, wait, why is this Christ the King in the Latin Mass when then the Novus Ordo is not till the end of November? Like, what is going on here? And so at a certain point, I had to just eventually be like, I have to just choose one because I can't keep being schizophrenic and going back and forth. And so I just end up choosing Latin Mass. And then it's funny because then I did that. That was probably around 2017, 2018. Then a few years later in 2020, I come across this Kickstarter that one of my friends shared on Facebook. And it was for this thing called the liturgy film, or Mass of the Ages. So I was like, this looks cool. It's a documentary about the Latin Mass. So I contributed, I donated to it. I was like getting excited about it. And I started tweeting back and forth with the Mass of the Ages guys, who was Jake Tate. Started getting to know him a little bit better. And then it was around the time I was getting to know Michael Knowles really well through the Daily Wire. And then Michael Knowles was a trad Catholic. I was like, he would be really good in this documentary. I don't know if I can help get him into the film. And so
let's talk about that really quickly. So as this was really interesting because you're talking about your path from the Novus Ordo onto the TLM.
Yeah.
As you decided you had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then finally made that decision to go fully TLM, and you put Matt Maher and Chris Talman are in tears because Margo left the Novus Ordo. So. With that being said, you are now. So explain to folks who don't know, what is your position at the Mass of the Ages team? What are they expecting you to do?
Yeah, so my official position is called the executive assistant, and basically I just serve them. I'm just Cameron's servant and Dan's and Jake's and the rest of the guys on the team. I am just like basically a servant. I help them out with emails, with booking flights and rental cars, and taking care of maintaining the TLM finder on our website, and just doing whatever they need me to do so that they can be free to focus on making the documentaries and making the upcoming priest training videos that will be coming out next year, and going more about the big picture stuff. And then I just take care of all the little details.
That's awesome. We're not going to talk about any of the controversies today about the whole rebranding, all that stuff. That's not something that we need to discuss now. Now, I did write a song for the Mass of the Ages. I did send it to the guys. They did like it, so I don't know if it'll make the documentary. Probably not, but
we'll see. I can't really give away any secrets or spoilers on episode 3.
No worries. We have a question from the audience.
Yeah.
Margo, have you ever thought about becoming a nun?
Okay, so with that, yeah. So around 2014, I graduated college in 2013. And after that, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So yeah, I did discern a little bit. I discerned with a Novus Ordo called the Daughters of St. Paul, who are known like the media nuns. They're all over like Facebook and Twitter, and they evangelize through social media and through book publishing and other forms of media. That's their apostolate. So I just went with them. I went on a retreat with them during the Holy Week of 2014. Ultimately, God made it clear that that's not where he was calling me to. He made it clear that I was kind of just running away and not wanting to face, I don't want to say not wanting to face reality, but like, it was just, I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. So, he made it clear that's not where I was called to. Then I'm actually glad, because since the Novus Ordo, I wouldn't have ultimately been happy there, I don't think. And then, ever since then, I just haven't really felt the call that he's called me to be a nun. And also I just have some extenuating personal issues, that I don't want to go into, not like anything bad, but just like my own mental stuff. I just know it's like it's not for me. I think I am called to marriage, but it is a beautiful vocation. And I would kind of wish, now that I am over 30, like, I wish if I had known there were traditional nuns earlier in my life, I would have like wanted to discern with them. But at this point, it's like I'm kind of aging out of like the age range anyway. So
That's beautiful. So let me ask you this question, off topic here. Other than Michael Knowles, who would you say is your celebrity crush?
let's see. Other than Michael Knowles, I have to have another one. Let's just go with Anthony Apate. I don't know.
So Anthony's a celebrity. That's infamous.
Let's bump him up. Let's bump Anthony up because his ego needs to be inflated.
No, so like growing up, like you didn't have like an actor that you were like.
Growing up, like as a teenager, I don't know, like Chad McElmurray from One Tree Hill.
Don't know who that is. That's great.
Okay, you don't know who he is. He was the teenage heartthrob. He was on this teen drama called One Tree Hill. He was on Gilmore Girls and a few others. He was just like the typical teen heartthrob, like blonde hair, blue eyes, like
right.
Typical teen heartthrob. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really go for celebrities anymore, especially like now, like that I'm just turned off. I've kind of just red pilled on pop culture. Nowadays, I'm just like, they're all messed up anyways for the most part.
On Catholic Twitter, who would you say are your top 3 favorite people?
Oh my! I can't. See, the thing is, when people do this, like I hate it because it's like I'm always going to leave someone out, and then they're all going to be yelling at me later, being like,
"Oh, that's okay." You can't put them all in. You got to pick your top. They got. It's like what it is. What it is. You got your top 3 favorite people. Okay, we'll do top 3 favorite girls and top 3 favorite guys.
Okay, so let's see. My top 3 favorite girls. Let's see. I have to go with my friend Terry Lynn, who I've gotten to know really well the past several months. And then let me see. It's so hard for me to think just off the top of my head. I don't want to leave anyone out. I'm so bad at this game. I don't even know. Why is this so hard? I really don't even know. Probably Amber Rose, the religious hippie, and I don't know. Oh gosh, I am so bad at thinking off the top of my head. Here,
last one. You got Haley.
Oh, yeah, Haley and I were. But we're very opposite. Yeah, I mean, she's a good girl. She's a good woman to follow, but we're very.
Who else is there? You've got Angela.
Oh, Angela! Duh, Angela. I'm gonna go with Angela.
Is that okay? Well, what about the guys?
Guys, well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Number 1 is Michael Knowles. I mean,
Michael Knowles. Yeah. Anthony also.
Anthony, let's go with that. Only one of his accounts though, not both of them. Just the one, Anthony. I won't say which one.
Okay, the original one. What about Rob too? Would you say?
Rob, well, he's off Twitter now.
That's right.
So he doesn't count anymore. He doesn't exist. Jake is Master the Ages. I don't know if that counts as one, even though because he doesn't have a personal account. But yeah, let's go with Jake, Master the Ages.
Okay, that's a good group. That's a good group of people. So now the picture is deceiving. Now answer this question for us. Everybody wants to know: has Margo ever smoked a cigar before?
Yes, I've smoked one once when I was in Nashville with my friends. A bunch of my friends and I went to Nashville this past June to hang out with the Daily Wire guys because basically once a year, the Daily Wire has a big fan event called Backstage Live at the Ryman Auditorium. So I tried to go to those. I went to the one in October 2021, and then there was one this past June. So a bunch of my friends and I got a big Airbnb, and on our last night there, I smoked a cigar for the very first time in my life.
You smoked the best cigar? Is that what you said? The first cigar or the best cigar?
The first cigar. I've never smoked a cigar before. That was my first and only cigar that I've ever smoked. It was pretty good.
So let me
I don't know what it's supposed to be. I have nothing to compare it to, but I liked it.
Did you like it? Most people who smoke cigars the first time get very nauseous after. Wait, did you get nauseous?
No. No, it was fine. Like, I thought I was going to be like coughing. Like I was very nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like start coughing to death or something. And I'm going to like make a total idiot of myself. I didn't know how to like puff it right away. It took me a few tries to get like the right rhythm down or whatever. So some of my friends had to like be like, Margo, no, this is how you do it. And I'm just like, I don't know. I was just like messing up because I was so nervous. But then I got the hang of it after like 10 minutes or something.
Let's move on to cuisine, food.
Yes.
Give me your top 3 favorite drive-through restaurants.
Chipotle. I really don't really eat a lot of fast food anymore. But back in the day, I mean, it would have been like Wendy's and I don't know, pick your local pizza place. For
Got it.
me, it's
Did,
Chicago
did you
style
ever
pizza.
did you ever dip a Wendy's fry into a Frosty? Did you do that? That was a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, not really. I just would dip it into ketchup, but
Ketchup.
sounds
Okay.
interesting.
So, are you a fan of Chick-fil-A at all, or is that
Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A. Yeah,
okay?
that too.
Chick-fil-A is one of them too. All right. So, waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Okay. Mexican or Chinese food?
Mexican.
Mexican. Okay. Favorite Mexican dish?
Uh, Tacos with like chicken and cilantro and onions
Okay.
and mild salsa.
So, okay. So, pollo taco. Now, today, happy feast day, by the way. We got a great feast day
Yes.
today.
Yes. What you
I
got
had,
today?
I went to a Mexican. Now, I'm in Kentucky and I found a Mexican restaurant.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I know. So,
I don't know if that would
coming from
be.
San Diego, I've been spoiled.
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough.
So it's tough. Yeah. So, we got a question. Italian food or Irish food?
Italian.
Irish food sucks.
Yeah. No offense
All
to the
right.
Irish people who
Pineapple or
maybe
no pineapple on pizza?
no pineapple on pizza. Pineapple on pizza is an abomination, and I will die on that hill. I've gotten into so many Twitter debates, and like I get into Twitter debates about a lot of things related to like little allergy rules and chastity and stuff. But one of the Twitter debates that I am very passionate about is that pineapple does not belong on pizza, and the people who do it should be arrested and hanged. And I don't even know. Capital punishment might not be enough. Don't take me off YouTube. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it's okay. That's all right. No, that's good. So I don't mind pineapple on pizza only because I have a sweet and savory taste bud. So I like the combination of sweet and savory.
Mm.
So that's why I don't mind the pineapple on the pizza.
I just don't
But
think
I
that
can
any
get how people can be annoyed by it. So I
yeah, I
get
just
it.
don't think
I get
any
it.
food. I'm a classic when it comes to pizza, like pepperoni, sausage, maybe some vegetables, like green pepper or something. But I mean, I'm very trad, I guess, about some things. Very classic. I mean, just give me some sausage and pepperoni. I don't know why you need
Sure.
like, and I just don't know why so many pizza places have to be like so like. It's like they put everything on pizza nowadays, and it's just like
They're
leave it
innovative.
alone. Yeah,
Keep it
it's like just leave
simple.
it alone.
Pepperoni, cheese, sauce. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay. So let me ask you this. Beer or wine?
wine.
Wine over beer.
Oh yeah, I don't
Okay.
like beer. If people are drinking beer, I'll drink like hard cider or something. I just never got into the taste of beer.
Okay. So it's, you're at this high rise, classy bar outlooking the entire city. What is the order? What is the drink that Margo orders from the bar?
Let's see. Probably like a cosmopolitan or a martini, some kind of fancy martini or something.
Got it. Now, your future husband might be on this, listening to this. So take notes because you're learning a lot of stuff. So, all right. Chocolate or flowers for Valentine's?
Both.
You like both? Okay. Dark chocolate or milk?
Dark.
Dark chocolate. Okay. Favorite dessert?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. That's good. Chewy or crispy?
Chewy.
Chewy. I like it. I like it. Country or city?
Suburb.
The suburb. Okay.
It's a good
So
middle.
if somebody offered you a home with like 10 acres and like this log house in the middle of the country, would you take it, or would you be like, nope, I'm living in the suburb?
I mean, as long as like there was a grocery store within like 10 minutes, I'm not completely out in the middle of nowhere. Because I mean, and I've lived in the suburbs my entire
No,
life.
you gotta butcher your own cow, Margo. You gotta.
Okay, I don't know this farm life thing. That's very foreign to me. I've lived in the suburbs my entire life. I go to grocery stores. I'm all about convenience and everything. I don't know this farm life. Like one of the guys on the Master Ages teams, Dan, apparently lives on a farm, and it's funny because on the Master Ages calendar that we have, sometimes they'll put the things that are joy like in their personal lives or whatever. So like one day on the calendar was like chicken processing, and I was just like, what is that? I was like, Dan, why is this on your calendar? What? And he was like, because I'm processing chickens. I'm like, wait, what does that mean? And he's just like, you like,
Kill the chicken, take out the feathers,
and
skin
I
it.
was just
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
it was such like, I had no concept of that. I was just like, oh, okay, that's what chicken processing meant. I was like, I didn't know if it was like a code word for something, if it was like, I don't know. Like, he was like, yeah, killing chickens. And I'm like, okay, that's
I think
totally
I
different.
think I
I just go
think
to the grocery store.
processing chickens on his calendar was code for pineapples on pizza because he didn't want to set you off. So
Oh,
that's probably what it was. He had to. So all right. I had this other question. Darn it! This happens to me a lot lately. You
oh
get this
yeah,
short-term memory and you just forget things that you're about to say. Does it
oh
happen
yeah,
to you?
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I've already forgotten like a bunch of things I probably should have said in this interview.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you your favorite virtue because I know what it is.
But
So let me ask you this. Let's move on to faith really quickly. Let's move on to faith. If I gave you one thing, so if I gave you endless amount of money, and I said you can put this in one area of the world or in the church to kind of get the world back to where it needs to be, because right now it's kind of crazy. What is it? What is that one place you would put it in?
I mean, I think I'm legally bound to say Mass of the Ages. I just give
Oh,
all the
so
money.
you would put it in, try to get the traditional movement pushed to everyone that you know, because you think
Oh
that
yeah,
that could possibly.
yeah,
Got it.
100%.
Okay.
Get
All
the
right.
Latin Mass out to as many people as possible. Train as many priests as possible. Make resources available for them. Yeah, this brick. I don't know about this brick guy. I think you might need to block him. He seems like a troll or something. I just think I don't know. He doesn't seem trustworthy.
Kaiser Bob asked, well, who was your favorite saint?
Oh my gosh. So many of them. I mean, St. Catherine of Siena is my confirmation saint. And again, I got confirmed in high school, so I just kind of picked her names. I like name Catherine, so I was like, I'll just go with St. Catherine. And then later on, I found out that she was actually like super epic and yelling at the Pope and all that. And actually, nowadays, it kind of seems like kind of appropriate. I'm like, should I follow in St. Catherine's footsteps? Maybe, I don't know at this point. But yeah, so she's probably my number one favorite. I also love St. Francis de Sales, St. Augustine, St. Ambrose, obviously the Blessed Virgin Mary, St. Thomas Aquinas, Machine, who should be a saint, but because there's a lot of BS going on and his canonization got stalled for stupid reasons, he's not even
Sheen and Chesterton both have gotten the short end of the stick, in my opinion. They should both be canonized.
Yeah. And I love to see Mother Angelica canonized someday. The creator of
that would be nice.
Yeah. Because, I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with.
Okay. Margo's perfect first date. What does it look like?
Okay, so my perfect first date would be dinner and a movie. No, it would be maybe going to it would be Latin mass followed by a nice Italian dinner. And then maybe walking around and getting some gelato, ice cream, or something.
Wow. Okay. And this will be in Chicago, south side of Chicago at 2 a.m.
Gosh, why do you keep thinking I go out to the south side of Chicago at 2 a.m.? That's so not a thing for me. I am like the biggest homebody ever. I don't know. You have the wrong impression of me, Enoch.
Oh, I had to. I couldn't help myself. So with
actually no, my ideal first date would be going out to the clubs and going clubbing and all that. That's really my scene. Totally love going out clubbing.
So obviously, when you're in the club, you prefer Enoch music.
Yes. Yeah. Good. So I'm just gonna have you blasting all over the.
At least it's modest, right? That's great. So, if you could pick one saint in the past that you could have dinner with because you want to pick their brain, who would it be?
I mean, I gotta say Fort Machine because again, he's
Fort Machine. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much from him, and there's still so much I'd want to talk to him about, and also too because I'd love to get his more like personal opinions on Vatican II and all that. I know like he kind of agreed with Vatican II a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I'd love to just really pick his brain on the Latin Mass, and just it would be interesting to bring Fort Machine back to 2022 and just be like, so what do you think about the state of the church right now, Fort Machine? Like, do you have any advice for us? Like, with all the craziness going on, like, what would your words of wisdom be to fix all this stuff going on?
Would you ask Fulton Sheen to be on the Master of the Ages documentary?
Oh, 100%. He would be the star of the show. He'd be the star priest of the
Absolutely.
show, 100%.
Absolutely. So that's a good point, Mac. Since he's not a saint yet.
Oh, well, but again,
you
I
have
consider
to
him to be
pick,
fine.
you
Okay,
have to pick
a
an
legit
actual
saint?
canonized saint.
Okay, an actual canonized saint. So many to choose from. I mean, Saint Augustine. Thomas Aquinas. I mean, obviously. I mean, even
Aquinas is cool.
Even Saint Peter or Saint Paul. I mean, even just talking to St. Peter would be epic, you know.
Right.
Him a little bit about, like, hey, Peter, you know, all the times you put your foot in your mouth. Can we talk about those things?
That's great. So I had this. I keep forgetting these questions. I have them in my head. So continue on with faith. I have one. I have one for you. Give me, and if you're comfortable sharing this, give me an embarrassing story that's happened to you in the past. Like either it's like at school or just in life, just a story where you were just absolutely embarrassed.
I mean, try to think of one. No, I mean, I had a very perfect life, and I've never been embarrassed ever. It's just, you know, it's tough being perfect, but one of the advantages is, like, you can never have embarrassing moments.
So you've been infused with perfect virtue and grace, I assume.
Oh yeah. Never been to I never had to go to confession because I just never sinned. No. I can't think of things off the top of my head here. And I don't like talking about my embarrassing moments because they're embarrassing, and I don't want to say it to all thousands of people watching right now because I know there's like probably tens of thousands of people watching this stream.
Brick says, if Enoch ever interviewed me, the whole show will be me embarrassing myself. Brick, I'll have you on. Let's do this.
You're next, Brick.
Let's do this, Brick. So if you had to pick any pope in history that you could pluck out of history and put him in the Vatican today, who do you think would best lead us?
Any of the Piuses, Pope St. Pius X.
Pius X.
Yeah. I'm really bad at Catholic history, so I don't like always know like the exact names and numbers of.
Pius X is great. Yeah. That's a good choice. Pope
St. Pius X, like, let's get things back on track here. Let's get traditionalism restored.
Got it. Some people would say literally anyone.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to go back to some of the bad popes in history. We don't want to get into like the bullshit popes or anything. Like, everyone, like, for as bad of a rap as Francis gets, we have had other bad popes in the past. Like, he's not.
We have, yes.
There have been other eras of church history where it's been very messed up.
Got it. Do you like sports at all, Margo?
I used to, but again, there's so much stuff, like the left ruins everything, so it's like all this stuff I used to like, I can't like anymore because they ruin it, but I used to be really into hockey until my local team, the Chicago Blackhawks, really started to suck, but they were huge in like the 2010s, 2010s era, like from 2010 to 2015. They were on a run, they won the Stanley Cup 3 times in like 5 years or something, so
wow.
Yeah, so they were amazing, but now they just kind of they're old and they just didn't trade well, and yeah.
What about play? Did you ever play sports? Just pick up games growing up?
I played basketball in elementary school and junior high. I was a cheerleader in junior high, and I did cross country in high school.
Did you shoot the ball like typical girl, like off the chest?
No, I was taught proper form with basketball.
Oh, so, like, I learned how to. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I was taught. I had a pretty good basketball coach. It was just like a dad volunteer, but he knew his stuff, and we did pretty good. But I was always better at defense than at offense. I wasn't like the high scorer or anything, but I was really good at defending. And
got it. Okay.
Making sure the other team didn't score. So.
All right. So here's another question. Just scenario: would you rather eat pizza with pineapples in it, or have to parallel park to save your life.
Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh, I hope Anthony's not watching right now because I'd be totally proving his point about that he makes because I can't park to save my life. I can't. I've tried. I mean, I can if there's a lot of space and there's no other cars like around at all. Like I can pull in on the side, but if there's like if it's parking between two cars, yeah, that might not turn out well. That might have been one of my embarrassing. Actually, that might have been one of my embarrassing moments when I tried to parallel park one time. We don't need to talk about that. So that's like what I was happy pineapple on pizza only because like I'm incapable of parallel parking.
So you would pick the pizza with pineapples over parallel
Only
parking?
because I'm incapable of it. It's really sad. I can't see how to make the angles and how to fit in, and I park too far away from the curb, or I
It's easy.
No, it's. I'm directionally. I'm not direct. I'm like spatially challenged or something. Like I can't see how to make the car fit in the spot. Anthony, please don't be watching right now. However,
All the Anthony's watching, but I will send this little clip to him.
Oh, goody. He can make this a short on avoiding Babylon.
As soon as I get it done. Oh yeah, those guys are so great. I like everyone. I like everyone from Avoiding Babylon, and I like all of the people that watch that show. Like everybody that's watching right now, Mac, Brick, Kaiser.
Yeah, no, I mean I discovered it this past summer. I think it was like around June or something. I came in around like episode 10 of the trivia show, and it's funny because at first Anthony rubbed me the wrong way. Like I had seen Anthony on Twitter a little bit, and he just came off like very brash and very harsh to me. So like I at first did not like Anthony at all, but then like people kept retweeting the trivia show, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a chance. I'll see what this trivia show is because other people on Twitter kept retweeting it. It kept showing up, so I was like, fine. And then I really liked it. And then Anthony started to kind of go on me. He was kind of acquired taste. And then now, like, he's like a brother to me. He's great. Like, I just love the guy. But
yeah, he's a really good guy. I like Anthony a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to meet him next summer, I think, because it's going to be like one of these organizations, the Coalition for Canceled Priests, is having an event in Chicago in June. I think Anthony said he's coming to, so that'll be an experience to actually see him in person. I might not survive. We'll see. We'll see if I survive that.
What country outside of the U.S. have you gone to?
I've never been out of the country. I'm boring. I have not.
How many states have you been to?
How many states? I mean, I haven't counted in a while, but probably at least half of them. I've driven around. I've flown and driven around. So, because I have relatives that live on the East Coast, so I've been to like all those East Coast states: Maryland, Virginia, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. And then I've been out west too. I've been to Colorado. Been to California a few times. Try to think where else. I've never been to
south side of Chicago, also at 2 a.m. Oh.
I am just going to stop the stream right here. The stream is over, man.
I can't help it. South side of Chicago at 2 a.m. sounds like fun to me, but it's probably not really fun for you.
No. You're not, like, I mean, again, maybe, like, you know, you might be more protective because you're a guy or something. That might be the double standard thing here, but as a woman, I just don't think it's a good idea for me to go to the south side of Chicago.
No.
2 a.m.
No, it's not good to go anytime, especially at 2 a.m. Do you like stay up late at night, or are you like a grandma, just like at 8:30? You're
gosh, no, I'm a total night owl. Like the Master of the Ages guys know that I'm a night owl, and then not a morning person at all. Like I'm the one who's like, I'll be like active in the Slack chats and stuff around like 9 or 9:30 in the morning, but they know like anytime before 9 a.m. I just won't be responding. So I'm a total night owl.
So I assume you've met Michael Knowles before.
Yes, I've met Michael twice now.
Twice.
You can see this picture right here of me and him
I've
in
seen
his own studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. And now, is Michael and Matt the only reason you support Daily Wire, or do you like what they do as a whole?
So I support Daily Wire for a few reasons, mainly because of Michael and Matt, but also because one of the things that has really always stood out to me about the Daily Wire is that they've always been very interactive with their fan base from the very beginning, and even now as they've grown and gotten bigger, they've always kept that. Well, like, I mean, even now, Michael and Matt are very good with keeping in touch with their fans and, you know, interacting with us on Twitter. And then I've also gotten to know the CEO and God King of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boeing, very well. And become pretty good friends with him over the years. So I respect them for that. Obviously, I don't agree with them on everything. There's a lot of things I don't agree with Daily Wire on, but overall, I like what they're doing. I like that they're trying to fight back the leftist culture. I like that they're trying to take back the culture and trying to crush Disney is always a good time. So I'm excited to see what they turn into as a streaming company. As they move more into streaming. But also Michael and Matt are just my favorites, obviously, to listen to.
We have two complaints. Number one, that you don't stay up late enough.
Okay. The problem is that I am up late, but Terry is on Mountain Time, so she's an hour behind me. So I mean, like I'm up until past midnight my time, but that's only 11 o'clock for her. So when she gets to her midnight, that's already 1 a.m. for me. Okay, I have to go to bed at a certain point. So yeah, so that's where me and Terry clash because she's an hour behind me, and so it's I can't win. I can't stay up forever. No, Dan, I do not know. Jesus is my first love. Jesus above all else is it's Jesus, and then it's Michael, and then Master of the Ages is somewhere in there too. But so I mean, Michael above Master of the Ages, but definitely not above Jesus. Come on. Yeah, Jesus is a foot higher than Michael. I mean, okay, so Jesus is way up here, and then there's Michael, and then Master of the Ages. I'm kidding. Don't fire me, Dan. If you want to, that's also that's also one of the jokes that we have in Master of the Ages is I always started to quit, and then they just are you're hired again. So,
you got Jesus, all the angels and saints.
Oh yeah,
Michael Knowles, Master of the Ages, and then everybody else under that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it. That makes a lot of sense. Hey, at least I got favorite Catholic rapper, so I'm already
you're the only Catholic rapper that I've heard of. So I mean, whatever that means.
Hey,
you don't have any competition.
No competition, which is great. So, is there anything else you want to talk about really quickly? To want to spread your message about chastity to everyone before we close?
Yeah, I would just say one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about the virtue of chastity is, again, like I was saying, I mean, so much of our culture right now is just messed up because we have such messed up priorities. And what I've been seeing too is we just really seem to idolize sex and sexual pleasure without responsibility at all. Mm-hmm. And I mean, say what you will about theology of the body and all those theology of the body can be controversial amongst the trad circles and stuff, but one of the things I learned from that was that those 4 parts of that sex is supposed to be free, total, fruitful, and faithful. So it's supposed to be free, it's supposed to be not forced in any way, both man and woman entering into it freely, and then fully, you're supposed to give yourself fully to your spouse, and not holding anything back, including and especially your fertility, and then fruitful, open to the gift of life, and then faithful only with one person, ideally your married spouse. And so once I learned about that, I was okay, that clicks, because then that throws away that means no contraception, that means no same-sex relationships, that means no cheating, no adultery, no any of the stuff that we see, fornication, cohabitation, and now we're seeing all the homosexuality stuff and trans stuff, that all just goes against chastity. If we would just respect each other and stop trying to use each other as objects for sexual pleasure, and stop just recognize the importance of marriage too, that marriage is truly no matter what the law says, no matter what YouTube may think or any of these other social media things or the government or whatever, marriage truly is the permanent union of a man and a woman who give themselves to each other and hopefully form a family of many, many children, to image the relationship between the Holy Trinity. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's what we need. The marriage and family is the foundation of our culture and our society, and we really need to take that back and grow families and also too, and friendships too. A lot of the time, a lot of people think oh, if I don't get married, then I'm going to be lonely forever. I'm just going to be lonely and miserable. If I am same-sex attracted, I'm going to be lonely forever. And at the end of the day, no, you can still have really deep friendships with people too. As important as marriage and family life is too, there's also, people who are called to be celibate, who are called to practice lifelong abstinence and stuff, right? Either as single people or as priests or as nuns, and God's grace is there on the sacraments for us to make up for any loneliness we may have and to help us grow in virtue and to help us practice it. So even as difficult as it might be to resist urges and stuff, God's grace is always there. And that's something we forget about, that yeah, you may be lonely, and because I'm almost 32 and single, and yeah, it's tough. But at the end of the day, I'm also I'm not going to settle, and I'm not going to just get married just for the heck of it. I'm not just going to settle or anything. I want to be truly valued, and I want to wait until I find the guy who's going to truly value me and not just use me or anything like that. So I think we really just need to recover that virtue and stop respecting each other again, and just stop obsessing over sex so much and sexual pleasure. It's just making me, our culture just makes me so sick. I'm just why? Why are we so obsessed with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no self-control, which is absolutely true.
Yes, exactly. Self-control.
It is one of the hardest virtues to obtain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But again, God's grace is there. We have to remember that, every time the sacraments are there, the sacrament of confession, the Eucharist, and they're there to strengthen us and to help us. And God will reward us. God will make up for whatever we lack in this life.
Right. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. And it reminds me of this, the fact that I eradicate the vice and build the virtue before you get married, because some people think that marriage is going to fix that.
Oh, that's the other dangerous thing too. I mean, and I know that girls, women have this too. They think if they get lonely, so they think that the man will fully make up for all the loneliness and stuff, and that the man just getting married will fix everything. And it's just you need to be okay being single before you'll be able to be married. Because if you're just going to look to the guy to fix everything, no guy is perfect on earth, except Jesus is a perfect man, but other than that, your husband is not going to be
Jesus,
perfect.
Michael Knowles, and then everybody else.
I mean, Michael Knowles is almost perfect, but
almost, he's almost there.
He probably has a few flaws here and there, but at the end of the day, we can't expect our husbands to complete us. We can't expect our husbands to just fully satisfy us. We have to understand that, we have to be full people before we can be married. We can't just, think that our husband's going to solve everything, because he can't. That's putting too much pressure on him.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point. Which reminds me of a quote. It's not so much the couple gazing at each other, but gazing towards Christ. With each other. Yeah, yeah. And it reminds me of the wedding of Cana, when our Lord turned water into wine. And the water at the end was actually the best wine.
Yeah.
When usually the last is the worst wine. And I guess that's, in a way, in a secular world, marriage is at its sweetest in the beginning, what they call the honeymoon stage.
Right.
But sacramental marriage gets better as you get older. So that's why the wine at the end was much better.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful image for us to remember.
Yeah, because you grow together. And as Michael Knowles has said, you either grow together or you grow apart. And so before you get married, he always likes to tell people, because a lot of people will write into a show and ask him for advice on dating relationships and all that. And one of his big things is that you want to both be united in your views, your political views and religious views. And he'll always tell people you either go together towards virtue and towards Christ, or you're going to end up just growing apart. And then maybe you'll find out that you shouldn't marry this person, because if you're not united on the basic things, especially on religion, it's ultimately probably not going to work out. And that's my view too. When people will ask me it's okay for a Catholic to marry a non-Catholic, I'll be well, technically, you can get permission from the bishop and all that, but really, it's just not I don't think it's a good idea for Catholics to marry non-Catholics, because I think you really need that sacramental unity. You need to be united in the sacraments, and you need to have both parents attending mass, and have both parents united in prayer for the sake of the children and stuff. Because other than that, because if you don't, then the church is just gonna be confused, and they're just gonna be "What, I go to mommy's church or I go to daddy's church?" And it's just easier. You want to have both parents united on the same team, so to speak.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Margo, aka Margarita, also known as Wells Margo.
I don't know who all these nicknames are getting for me. I am mostly called Margo of the Ages. That is my official name.
I made them up before we got into the show.
The name of my birth certificate is actually mostly called Margo of the Ages.
Got it. I thought Wells Margo was gonna stick, but it's not. Okay, so so maybe we should call you Southside Chicago Margo, but.
We're going to cancel your YouTube channel. I'm just going to click report after this and just report you to YouTube, and you're just going to be done.
All right, we're gonna close this up. I appreciate you coming on. You actually were super fun, answered all my questions. I think people got to know you better than they actually did. And that's what it's all about, trying to get to know you better. So thank you again, Margo. God bless you. Keep up the good work with the Master of the Ages. We're all looking forward to the third. And the fact that you have a hand on making it happen, I think they have the right person at the right time to make a right product. So thank you.
And if I could just tell everyone, if you want to go to latinmass.com/give and please support us, please consider becoming a monthly donor if you can, because we have a lot of things we're working on. We're trying to get priest training videos made and produced early next year, so we can get a lot of priests trained and hopefully double the number of Latin Masses in the next 10 years. So please just, either support us financially or also definitely please pray for all of us on the team, because all of us face spiritual trials from time to time, and we really need the prayers as well. Like the prayers, money is great and stuff. We appreciate all the financial donors, but please also keep us in your prayers.
Thank you for sharing that. That's absolutely true. Thank you. God bless you, Margo. God bless everyone. We'll see y'all soon.